My name's Michael Grimshaw. I'm 52 years old, just recently turned. I came from Port Fairy in Victoria and I've been on Flinders Island for 8 years. I was born and bred in Port Fairy and started surfing when I was 5 years old, which means I've been surfing for 47 years. I've always had a tie with the coastline of Australia. I've travelled nearly every bit of it. Still love it, still want to be part of it, and that's why I'm here on Flinders Island, because I found it as one of the jewels of Australian coastline, and it's very, very special. The sea, it's one of those vital cogs of the world that has to be maintained. It has to be a sustainable piece of infrastructure, for the want of a better word. It needs looking after. So while it's important to feed the world and to the fisheries need looking after, the plankton, the crayfish, the salmon, they all need looking after. So while we like to hunt and gather from the sea, we also like to look after it. Coming to Flinders Island, which apparently has one of the most numerous amounts of silverfish in the sea in the southern hemisphere. It was quite amazing for me, given that I do a lot of diving, spend a lot of time underwater, and it's fascinating. For me, when the sea was at the best, I guess, was when I was very fit and surfing a lot, and I used to spend up to 8 hours a day in the water. These days my body's very old and tired, and while I still appreciate the sea, look, I don't think it's changed in a lot of respects, but I do recollect those lovely times surfing big waves and being one with the ocean. But I still spend a lot of time underwater and still have that same empathy with it. So I guess that's a tough question to answer. It's all still special, and the next day is probably the most special. Yeah, look, the population and the whole sea change phenomenon, it is affecting the coast, and especially where I came from, which Port Fairy was a bit like Flinders Island 40 years ago, and we used to have uncrowded beaches in Port Fairy, and not have people that don't seem to be sympathetic with the beach. And I'm not saying that people in Port Fairy don't respect the beach, but it did seem to become a lot more crowded and a lot less looked after. We came to Flinders Island not necessarily to find unspoilt beaches, but that was one of the attractions when we came, given primarily we came here to farm. But the beaches were, when we came here, it was just amazing. And it's like Port Fairy 40 years ago, and the number of people on this beach is basically vacant most summer days, and that's great. I think Flinders Island has to be looked after and make sure it doesn't turn into one of those commercial beach resorts like Port Fairy, Sorrento, all those Victorian places where I came from. But it's a beautiful spot, and I guess it's protected more because of its it's insured against by the expense of getting here and the travel. Not many people just want to come to Flinders Island for a holiday because it's too expensive. Yeah, look, from an individual point of view, what I do now is what I'm going to keep doing, which is respect the beaches, respect the ocean, look after it as much as I can. I think where it becomes much more complex is with the authorities that oversee, especially the beaches, especially the developments around beaches. I think Flinders Council's got a really good grip on development around beaches. They're against strict development. They're certainly keeping a cap on height limits for buildings in coastal areas. So I think I think that goes to another level, and I did spend a fair bit of time. I was deputy mayor on the council here, and I think there is an omnipresent want from the authorities here to look after the coast and look after what's special for Flinders Island. And it gets into a really complex situation. We need to attract visitors, but we need to look after what we've got. you know, tourism's vital to this community. You know, given that the fishery section of the island, like there was, you know, up to 30 crayfishermen here 30 years ago. Now there's 2. You know, so to get the kids at the school, to maintain your doctors, to maintain your, you know, your facilities, you really need tourism. We've got a special spot here. It just needs to be looked after, and I think, you know, that lies basically with Flinders Council and the state government. No, I think the beauty of this place is it's totally, you know, it's one of the most untouched you've seen. There is a, it's an unwritten rule for Flinders Island. If you go to a beach in summertime, you go to another one. And while that might seem really silly, it's actually somewhat true, you know, unless you specifically go in there to have a group function or whatever. But you know, we go surfing, and you know, where most of the world's trying to get away from the crowd, we want to find a friend to go surfing with, you know. So we're really lucky, and you know, with a population of 800 and only a few surfers on the island, it's a great thing. You know, and the core of the, you know, the hardcore surfers, you know, there's only 3 or 4 that really stick together. And old blokes like me might pop up along every now and then, but yeah, look, I don't think there's an event, because the place is still, you know, basically untapped and basically as it was many years ago, which is really good. Flinders Island's special in that it has a varied type of beach. It has, you know, rocky outcrops right through the west coast with little beach coves in amongst it, and then it's got the expansive beaches down the east coast, which, you know, are a phenomenon to themselves. You know, long untouched beaches with, you know, abundant bird life. You know, hooded plovers here that really do outstrip any other beach in the world as far as numbers, which is great. So there's a variety of beaches and type of coastline within, you know, within a small area. So that's special. Yeah, I guess it goes back to being one of those places where it really is very, you know, natural. It's just nature at its best. Well, it is unique, and it is special. It has a huge variety. It's got long expanses of beaches, and it's got, you know, magnificent rocky coves and you know, little hidden beaches. So right around the island, it's very, very different, but you know, it's all very special. So you've got, you know, beaches that go 30 kilometres long, and then you've got beaches that are 200 metres long that are just hidden away in amongst granite rocks and limestone rocks. So it's very special. The whole island, you know, one day I'd love to traverse it. We had some people here the other day that actually walked the whole perimeter of the island. I think it was something like 230 kilometres. So it's pretty amazing. And 88 beaches and something like that. It's pretty special. Well, the Flinders Island lifestyle is, you know, it's embedded directly to the coast. There isn't one local, there isn't one visitor, there wouldn't be even a business person that comes to this island that isn't, you know, conscious or affected by the coastline. It's, you know, very much part of an island culture and very much part of island style. So yes, everybody's affected, and it is truly beautiful. It's arguably one of the nicest beaches I've ever seen in the world, and I've travelled a bit of it. It's great. So yeah, we're happy here. The beaches are fantastic. Yeah, look, I care for the ocean. My family care for the ocean. It's something that is very special to the whole family. An example would be the other day I was out diving with my kids, who are only 11 and 10, and there was hooded plovers on the rocks and white-bellied sea eagles above us on the cliffs, and you know, the abundant fish life for my children to see was just phenomenal. And they said it was better than any movie or wild world park they could go to, and that gave me confidence that the next generation will also look after the ocean and the beaches of Flinders Island.